Okay, I have to tell you, I'm really curious about who Julie Robinson is. I've been on your website, I've talked to you before, and you always leave me with an intense curiosity to get to know more. So, can you please enlighten me and the rest of us?
Yes. I think that I am somebody who might be gifted, but there's a lot of people who are gifted. I think that what makes me me is my trauma. And that's not to make anybody feel sad or to feel sorry for me, but I think that my work is trauma informed, meaning that I'm able to help people not because I learned about it from a book, but because I've been in such dire straits and difficult times in my life that I had no choice but to lean on my angels. And so I think that's the difference between being somebody who's gifted and somebody who's had to work with angels to learn principles of how to survive and then more importantly how to thrive. So although you could say, yeah, like she's number 4 in the country and I've consistently been on top psychic lists for the past 8 years and I've been doing this for 15 years, I think what makes me me is the fact that I've survived so much so I can connect with my clients. Anything that you've been through, I've been through it too. And I have the tools to gift you because I've used them too to get here.
Okay, so I know that you're good, and you said you may be gifted. I wanted to learn more because somehow I think there's more to this, and I think you are gifted. So I would love to learn about how you learned about your gifts, and at what point in time did you learn to own your gifts and really use them for good?
Yeah. Well, I think, I didn't realize I was gifted for a really long time. And that's why I say that is, I just would hear things. I always felt like I had background information. I always felt like I had an advantage in situations, like I was being helped. But I just assumed we all had that gift. It wasn't until 2008 when I was discovered or supported to come out of the spiritual closet in my first angel reading, which was amazing. It was this wonderful woman. She was just so rich with compassion and love. Jeanette Nienaber, she's a Healing Touch examiner for Healing Touch Canada program. And she just really supported and validated my gifts, that it was angels, in fact, that I was speaking to, and that I would have this practice that I have had for the past 15 years now, hard to believe. And she sort of, predicted that I would do all these things. And so she supported me to work with angels so that I could work with other people's angels. And that experience just left me feeling so loved unconditionally. And really that somebody had compassion for me. Because like I said, I was at a rock bottom point when I had met her, that I was driven from that point on to, have other people experience the love and the healing that I had from my first angel reading. So all of my work has been filtered through that lens of how can I help other people to have a loving angel experience.
So, Julie, we talked a little bit before we started the interview because I wanted to understand the bigger picture, what you do. And you so far have been talking about the angels and their influence, but I know there's more to what you do. And I would love for you to expand on that.
Sure. So I am an empath, and that sort of does get lost in translation sometimes with my title. But what essentially I do is I am in people's energy from the minute I wake up in the day. So if I'm reading you, I'm going to wake up in your energy. Going to feel your symptoms, what's going on for you physically, health-wise, diet-wise, emotionally. So I'm able to tap into those messages. So when I'm reading you, that's my ability, is to know what's going on for you. I basically experience what you're experiencing in my physical body as if it's happening to me. So I'm able to give so much proof and validation for your experience.
Okay, so you've talked about being an angel reader and an empath, but you also mentioned a third thing. And I'm not going to let you get away without talking about it because you do mediumship and you do channel messages. So Can you please tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So I am a medium. I am actually a trance medium. So I have 2 different ways that I can provide mediumship. One is like when I'm doing an angel reading, your deceased loved ones will come through and provide messages that way. But often if I have an object, or if, you know, somebody really with a big energy comes through, I can go into a trance for a few minutes and channel. I'm a little bit cognizant of what's going on, so I'm in control of my body, but sometimes spirit will use my body to deliver a message in that way. So
do you find that when you're in a reading, you're tapping into all three, and whichever one is stronger comes through?
it's no, I don't. I would say it's whoever, like, what's meant to come through will. I'm not in control. So, like, for example, you might want to hear from your dad if your dad was crossed over, but it might be your uncle who wants to come through first. So it's sort of whoever has the bigger agenda. I feel like the angels are sort of in charge of who kind of leads and that type of thing. I mean, spirit's always talking. I'm just crazy enough to answer them.
That's awesome. So finally, Julie, what can people expect at our event?
I think what people can expect is, number one, validation. With my messages, I'll be able to validate your experience, not only what you're going through, but also, you know, that your angels are there with you as you go through that. You know, a lot of people who are going through it right now think that they're alone, but you'll find with the messages is that you're never alone. Your angels are right there with you at that exact time. And with the messages that I bring up, you know, only things that you would know, you'll get that validation. And the other piece is healing from trauma. I will be providing angel healings at the event to do some root chakra healing and restore your sense of safety, because that is something that the world has really lost through the pandemic, and we need to build ourselves back up.
Awesome.